When Andy and his group of companions came down to fight against the king-tier beast, they weren't strong enough to force it into a rage mode. This is why they believed the Bloodsucker was more powerful than the king-tier beast. When both of them were fighting at their full power, they were even. The two bald twins had appeared, one by Vorden's side and the other by Peter's side. "You guys did well to survive against such a thing," one of them said, "but you can now leave it to us," the other said, ending the first one's sentence. "We will take you back to your friends. Follow us quickly, as we must help our leader to fight." The twins were insistent, and before they could even reply, they were already trying to pull both Vorden and Peter out of the fighting area. While being pulled along, Vorden was moving his head around the area. "Where's Quinn? Wasn't he on the other side? If he's hiding, he must have a reason," Vorden thought. However, when one of the twins tried to pull Peter, they were suddenly stopped. The twin yanked again, and it felt like he was trying to move a large boulder. "What are you doing? Why won't you move? If you stay here, you will be..." Peter then looked back in a certain direction. He waited a while before replying. "Okay, but don't touch me, or I might bite your hand off." The twins started wondering about who this student was. They had come to save their lives, and he was threatening them, although he wanted to snap back. He knew they were only students, and they must have gone through a lot, which was why Peter had responded the way he did. The two boys were taken out of the area, and now Andre and Andy felt like they could fight with no worry. The Bloodsucker went towards the two in front of its eyes. It hadn't been injured much, but it was still starving from blood, as spit started dripping from its mouth. The first to move out of the two was Andy. He jumped forward with his large shield and braced himself for an attack. Slowly, parts of the shield seemed to cover themselves in reinforced earth. The core and metal part of the shield could be seen, but now the shield was twice the size, and the outside was covered in parts of the earth. The attack hit against the shield, breaking most of the earth away, but the shield was still perfectly intact. Still, the power of the strike caused Andy to slightly tumble himself, nearly falling to the ground, but a hand was placed on his back, stabilizing him. "I'm here," Andre said. Instead of charging forward, the Bloodsucker could sense a slight vibration in the air and moved back. After a few moments, 2 slices of wind went past. "How did he know it was coming?" one of the twins said. They had returned after escorting the kids to Lily and used their wind abilities to throw out a kick and slice of wind. "It looks like this beast has some level of intelligence," Andre said as he jumped up onto Andy's shoulder, before running on top of his shield and jumping right on the edge towards the beast. From the side, Cookie, the lion beast, pounced once again. The flames this time on its tail were, even more, brighter than before, and when they clashed, neither one of them fell back. The Bloodsucker seemed to be slightly stronger, but Andre wanted it held there for a moment. As he thrust his spear forward, he was able to hit the creature right between the ribs. Fex began to scream in pain as the pointy object was jammed into him. Usually, his tough muscles would be able to form some type of protection, but seeing how easily it penetrated him meant the weapon was one of a high level. Andre left the spear and was ready to hit it further, digging it into the creature, trying to cause a serious wound, but the second he let go, a large red area came from the side. He didn't know what it was, but he could sense its power, and leant back narrowly, avoiding the strike. "Get away from my friend," a strange robotic and deep voice was heard. As the group turned to look at the speaker, all they could see was a human figure dressed in a black suit, wearing a demon mask that was covering its bottom jaw, while its eyes were white and shaped like a demon. After completing the quest successfully, Quinn didn't get much time to check the rewards or see what he obtained. There was a problem with Fex, and shortly after the travelers appeared as well. It seemed like the group was in trouble. Soon after seeing the travelers, he knew instantly how they would react after seeing Fex. It was hard for them to even explain the situation, since Fex was currently attacking them. However, Quinn felt like he had a way to solve their current issue, only he didn't have much time to act. During the fight with the king-tier beast, he hadn't done this because they needed Fex in his Bloodsucker form, but Quinn still had the flask that Fex had gifted him. Once he drank the blood from the flask, it should be enough for his body to turn to normal. Right now, these travelers that were trying to help were just getting in the way. Hiding in the shadows, Quinn started to think about his next move. What he didn't expect to happen was that the small group of travelers would be able to overpower the Bloodsucker. After seeing him get stabbed in the ribs and howling in pain, Quinn had enough. "I need to do something," Quinn thought. Although he didn't know what rewards he had received from the quest, there were two standout things he knew he had gotten without reading the system messages. The first was his level. Level 18, 10,730 up 25,600 EXP, 6 free stat points. With each level, a large amount of EXP was required to level up, and by defeating one beast, Quinn was able to level up 3 more times. At the higher levels, it would usually take a huge amount of time for one to level up. But Quinn was fighting beasts several levels above what he was capable of. It was something the system had never expected. Before jumping in to help Fex, Quinn had made the quick decision to put all of his points into the charm stat. 22 charm points. This unlocked the next tier in his charm, and Quinn could tell that it would be different when he used it next. When fighting against humans or those like them, he knew the best stat to increase was the charm stat. His Phantom Punch had proven effective, and he also had the Daze and Influence skills. His speed was already great, although he could increase his strength based on the last fight. It was useless, unless he had the beast gear to go hand in hand with it. This left the stamina and charm stat. For now, other than not being able to use the flash step freely, Quinn hadn't run into any problems with his stamina. He still would have liked to increase both, but it made more sense to pour the points into his charm stat for this confrontation that was about to happen. With no time to lose, Quinn needed to reveal himself from the shadows, targeting his blood swipe at the leader Andre. When the blood swipe left his hands, he noticed that it was a lot more powerful than before. This confirmed one of the other messages that Quinn had received. All blood-related skills have increased by 1. Blood swipe level 3. Blood spray level 3. Crescent kick level 2. Blood bank level 2. This was a huge improvement in power. It took a long time for him to level up his skills, and Quinn was wondering if his blood bank would ever level up, and it finally did. Although it wasn't much use right now, because it was empty. "Why did you attack me? We're trying to get rid of this beast," Andre said, annoyed at the strange figure. It was clear the person who had attacked him was human, so he didn't want to lash out immediately, and decided to break down into peaceful negotiations. There wasn't much time for chit-chat, though, since Fex had pulled out the spear in his side and threw it onto the ground. It swiped at Andre next to him again, but Andy was already by his side to block the attack with his shield once more. The two twins were now coming up from behind and threw out 2 wind kicks, forming a sharp slice from the tip of their boots. A few moments later, they could feel something running past them at an incredible speed. Quinn no longer had any MC points to use his shadow, so he could only rely on his blood skills for this one.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.